Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Spirituality with Ashley podcast. Today's episode is going to be a hodgepodge of stuff. We're going to call it the Spiritual Bestie Catch-Up episode because let's just catch up, guys. Let's keep it really casual. Grab your favorite your favorite yummy beverage. I've never called a beverage a bev, but we're here for it today. It's a bev. Grab your bev. Let's hang out. I just want to talk. I don't want to do the outline. I don't want to do all the stuff. I have so much stuff to talk about. I've got a lot of things going on. And so we're going to talk. We're going to hang out. Okay. So I am still going to do my intro to let you know what the episode is about, because what if you don't want to hear about the stuff I'm going to be catching up about, you know what I mean? So I've got you. But intro first. So today I'm going to be talking about dealing with grief, even when you have spiritual beliefs that help you to understand what's going on when somebody passes and that they're still with you, but then still navigating the physical aspect of not having that person here. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to talk about my Manny-Gen inclinations. So if you are a manifesting generator, you might relate to this. If you are not a manifesting generator in human design, then you might feel like I'm a crazy person because of all the things I'm constantly doing. And I'm also going to talk about Galactic Astrology, some new certifications I'm working on and want to get, the things on my list. I'm so excited about all of it. And you guys are my people that I talk to about it. So thank you for being here for me. I'm also going to talk about an emotion code session I had for myself this morning. I found a preconception emotion of grief before I incarnated. What? We're going to talk about that. And then a little bit of how I've been feeling since doing the emotion code on myself. And I'm also going to add in some Akashic Questions I found. I'm reading this book by Cheryl Marlene. I had an Akashic Records session with her. I wanted to see what it was like to get a reading from her because I'm reading her book and I was just like, oh my God, I love the way that she's explaining stuff and the things that she gets into. She goes really deep. It's more of like an advanced Akashic Records deal, which is really cool. I love it. I'm here for it. Y'all know I'm here for the depth. And so she has a book. It's called the Akashic Records Masterclass. And it's freaking giant. It's like 800 pages. She told me that she actually has a newer book. But I'm gonna keep on trucking with the old long one. And anyway, she's got a section in there with like 400 Akashic questions you can ask and all kinds of stuff. And so I have 7 of them that are really awesome questions that anybody can ask. So I thought I'd share them because I'm really enjoying going through them myself. And so if you have your own Akashic Records practice, maybe you can, ask them for yourself or maybe get a reading and ask them. But I think they're really great questions. So that's what we're going to get into today. My allergies are out of control. You can actually see the pollen, like a yellow layer just on the ground. I just got back from the gym and it was like, you could see footprints of the pollen on the treadmill that I was walking on, like gross. And so my nose is I feel like I have to sneeze and I feel it all the way up into my forehead. Like it's very uncomfortable. So I apologize if you can hear a little bit of that congestion but I wanted to record this podcast because I'm feeling it right now. And when I'm feeling inspired to do something, I need to do it right then, because that inspired, excited feeling does not just hang around forever. And then I'm like, crap. And then I'll have like an outline or all these notes and I'm just like, I don't feel like talking about this anymore. And I'd rather talk about it when I'm excited. So that's what this podcast episode is going to be about. We're at 4 minutes with the intro. Back to getting it together. I did so well in that last episode. My intro was like 2 minutes, guys. I was doing the damn thing with that episode. But anyway, this one's going to be awesome too. We're, bringing the vibe. So if you are interested in keeping up with things going on with me, my offerings, discounts, webinars, stuff like that, I'm going to be offering some webinars and stuff like that, especially dealing with the emotion code. And so if you're interested in those kinds of things and just kind of keeping up with me, you can subscribe to my newsletter. I'll usually send out an email whenever I post a new blog, which happens not often anymore. Honestly, I think I was maybe doing one every couple of weeks. Now it's every couple of months, maybe. So if you're interested in any of that, subscribe to my newsletter. You can do so from my website, ashleybrickhouse.com. And if you are not already following me, you can follow me if you want to on YouTube, Instagram, on Spotify, and also on TikTok. But there's some stuff going on with TikTok right now where like it's in legislation. I don't know. I'm just throwing around political words. I don't really know what any of that means. I probably should, because I'm an adult that lives in the United States and I should understand how the government and all the things work. But I'm not well versed in those things. I just know that TikTok is in court right now. Essentially, they are talking to our government about getting shut down. So TikTok might not be around in a while, but you can also follow me on there right now. I'm still there. It's still there. Let's hang out. And as always, you can always send me messages, DMs. You can leave a voicemail for me with the podcast, and I will get back to you if you have questions or anything. So here we go. Let's get into this episode. All right. So guys, my mom's birthday was on, it was this past Friday. It was on the 15th. I'm recording this on March 18th. So yeah, it was 3 days ago. I was having a hard time. And it was weird. A few people let me know, like a few people who've lost their moms, friends of mine who've also lost their moms. Taking a sip of water. I didn't want to just interrupt what I was saying with like a period of silence. So I'm just letting you guys know I'm sipping water. Anyway, a few people let me know that it would probably be difficult. Her first birthday. And honestly, she just passed October 27th. So it has not been that long. It's been about 4 months. And so it's still very, very fresh. I'm sure it's going to feel fresh for a while. And oh, wow, this is my first time like talking about it. We're going for it today. I had a really hard time this weekend. It was weird. My energy felt weird. I think some of it was me kind of like anticipating feeling really sad. And I think the other part of it was realizing that like, damn, man, her last birthday, she was here and I was expecting her to be here for this one. So it's still a bit of a shock, I think, for my system, for my human brain. And it's just such a weird experience to go through. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. I've been through some shit, guys. And this is by far one of the hardest things. It's just grief is a whole other deal. It is unlike anything else, truly. And I think one of the weird things is that like I'm deep into all the spiritual things, like all of it. And so I understand. And I do mediumship. I'm a psychic medium. So like I've talked to her, like I converse with her, we interact, we play games and stuff and like with each other, which is actually really cute and funny. She likes to mess with the lights in my bar that I have because our bar is backlit. And so she'll mess with the lights and like make them blink random bunches of different colors. And it only happens when like we're playing our game and I like ask her to do it basically. It's really funny. And like she'll mess with the lights. She usually will mess with lighting. And then we'll have conversations. And if you're interested in, talking to your loved ones who have passed, it's a whole different life. Like the rules are different for them than they are for us on Earth. And I know that probably seems like, duh, Ashley, but I still think it's important to talk about that because even if it seems like, okay, well, yeah, of course, that's how it is. I think that saying it in words and hearing it and actually discussing it makes it more real. Like I'm currently incarnated in a physical body. So it's like, I understand the concept of her still being around and still being a spirit. And like, I, deal with entities and energies all the time. But it's just different when it's your person, when it's your loved one, And so, yeah, it's been a weird process for me. It took me probably about a month to for my human brain to catch up with the fact that she wasn't physically here anymore. Like, I thought I was going to be crying. Like, I thought my whole life was going to shut down, and it didn't. And so it's still really weird for me because I know she's still here. Like, I watched one of our favorite movies that we love, The Heat, with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. I think that's her name. And we always used to joke about it and like say movie lines from that movie. And so I watched it and ate popcorn, and I swear she was sitting on the sofa beside me. It was really cool. And so I talk to her out loud all the time. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, how it can be weird when you know that spiritual realm exists. You know that your loved one is there. I know my mom is there. I interact with her still. We have a different type of relationship now. We interact differently, and it's all love. I don't it's really cool, but it still makes me really sad. And I still obviously it's very fresh. I'll talk to her and then I'll get really sad and I'll cry and I'll experience the physical absence of her. And then there are other times where I'll just be laughing and I can hear her voice in my head and like we're having a whole conversation and I don't cry. And it's been weird, man. So I had a weird weekend. I went super hermit mode. I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I wanted to process by myself. And so I did. And it was good. It was weird. I had a hard time. It was good. I'm feeling better now, feeling more like myself. And back to my normal, everyday, going 1 million miles an hour life where I'm busy. I'm doing 10 things at a time. I want to say I'm trying to get better at that, but I don't know. I think I kind of thrive in that environment. I am a Manny-Gen. I'm a manifesting generator, according to human design. And what I've learned about manifesting generators, some of us, not all of us, but manifesting generators often have multiple passions, multiple interests, and we'll just pick something up, do it, get really good at it, and then we're like, okay, I want something else. Like, I want to do something else. And so I do that with like 3 or 4 things at a time. And I honestly am dying. I don't want to say I'm dying to get something. I don't like using that word. I am so excited. Our words are important. They carry frequency. Trying to be high frequency here. So I am very excited. I'm so excited because I really want to get a human design cert. I love human design. I kind of step into it. Well, I will cannonball into it, like cannonball into the pool of human design. And then I get out of the pool, I dry off and I go do something else that has nothing to do with it for a while. Like, it's so complex, but I love it. Oh my God. Every time I dive into it and I start going over my chart and other people's charts, oh my God, I fall in love with it because it just resonates. Everything I find, I'm like, yes. I took a period of time and I was just like obsessed with communication, like your open centers, how you communicate. And I learned so much about my relationship with my boyfriend. I also did it for my sister and her kids because one of her kids is super like me and the other one of her kids is super like her. And so for the one that's so much like me, I wanted to like help her understand how to communicate, kind of how his brain works, because I get him. Like, I get it. We're so similar. It's wild. And so I was looking into human design and I was just studying like the throat center, the channels connected to that, where your energy centers are, and like what all the things are that contribute to how you communicate. And it was so interesting. It helped me in my relationship. I looked up my boyfriend's chart and found out that like I can talk. Like, I will talk. I try my best to communicate well, but I can talk my ass off. And you don't have to invite me. You don't have to ask me a question. I can just talk. My boyfriend, though, on the other hand, is not like that. You have to ask him a question in order for him to like really contribute in the same way that I will just contribute without being asked. And so learning that really helped me in my relationship because I was like, oh, I really have to like ask him if I want to know what his viewpoint on something is. He's a great listener and he will listen to me all day and be an attentive listener, but he is not as he's not as ready and willing to just offer up his viewpoint, his side of it, which I found that really interesting. So anyway, I want to get a human design cert. That might happen sometime this year, but I have some other ones. I'm finishing up my emotion code cert right now. Man, I'm so excited about that one. Oh, I'm already like feeling the things from it. I'll get into that a little bit later though. So I'm finishing up my emotion code cert. I think I've got like 3 sessions left that I just have to follow up with. And then yeah, I can turn in my student portfolio to get reviewed and get my cert. I'm so excited. I'm also, as soon as I get as soon as I get the emotion code cert, I want to get the body code. Oh my gosh. And I already have the book. I haven't read it because I know how I am and I will get all obsessed and jump in, and then I'll just read the book in 2 days and I won't do anything else. And I have all these other things I want to do too. So the body code, oh my God, I'm going to get that as soon as I'm done. I'm going to start studying for that one. The body code is the emotion code, but more. So the emotion code is about releasing trapped emotions. And then the body code is about, and when you're doing the emotion code, you're just asking like, are there trapped emotions I can release? That have to do with this thing or that thing. The body code, and I actually have the book right in front of me, it says unlocking your body's ability to heal itself. So the body code actually goes deeper into like your organs, parasites, stuff like that. I don't want to say too much about it because like I said, I haven't read the book. I've just kind of like looked into what the body code is because that's level 2. That's a level 2 certification. The emotion code is level 1. And so I'm like, I want to get all 3. There's also a belief code. And so I'm pretty sure that has to do with your beliefs and your mindset about stuff. Oh my God, I just love it. I love the whole deal. So I'm going to start studying for the body code once I get the emotion code cert. And then I've been working on my Galactic Astrology certification since last year. Just like human design, astrology is so complex. Oh my gosh. And Galactic Astrology is even more complex. So you have to have a really good understanding of basic astrology. Oh my God, my nose. I'm so sorry about all this sniffling. So you have to have a really good understanding of basic astrology in order to like really get into galactic astrology, because for basic astrology, you've got your houses, your planets, your signs, the degrees, the orbs, all the things. It's so complex. And then when you put galactic astrology on top of it, you look at like which fixed star alignments are showing up in which house, under which planet, and which, how many degrees it's at. And then there's so much. And based on the fixed star alignments in your chart, that points to your galactic origins, which star nation you're from. Are you originally from Arcturus? Are you from the Pleiades? Are you from Procyon? Is that how you say it? Alpha Centauri? Are you, did your soul come in through a portal from another universe to this universe? Like, it's so interesting. And then it also has Akashic records tied into it, because once you find your placements in your natal chart and you kind of like decode all of that stuff, then you go into the Akashic records to get your soul story. So like, let's say you have a placement in, with Pleiades as your ancient soul history. So your soul origins, your soul originated in the Pleiades, and that energy is supporting you in this life. And you're working off some karma from when you incarnated in Orion. And then you can go into the Akashic records and you can find out, well, when you incarnated into the Pleiades, like, what happened? Why? How did you end up incarnating physically there? It goes so deep, and I love it. And I think it's so cool because I'm obsessed with starseed stuff, with galactic history, any ETs, like any space stuff. I love. I love ET stuff. I love alien things. I love it. Deep space, love it. And so for a while, I was really obsessed with like my starseed origins. And I mean, technically all of us are starseeds because we all have like different star race DNA in us. But I think that where we've incarnated in our soul stories kind of will give us a stronger energy from certain star nations or certain ET races. And it's really cool because I've had a few starseed origin reports done that I got from Etsy. I was just trying out all the different ones. And honestly, they were all pretty similar because I think they use your birth chart too. And I think they just use a different system, honestly. And because they didn't do, well, I think they did have astrology involved, but whatever. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I got all these different readings. And then I noticed that when I got into galactic astrology and I started doing it myself, I was like, oh, shoot. Like, I noticed some of the same patterns that these other people were finding. And I also, like, from my work with the Akashic Records and going in and connecting with my spiritual team, doing the Akashic Records, just channeling, I noticed that, like, my connections, the energies I was connecting to and the information that I was getting matched a lot of the stuff that I was finding in my galactic astrology. It's so interesting. So if you are somebody that's interested in your galactic ties to different star nations, if you're interested in your soul's origin story, like the groups that you're associated with, the places you've incarnated in this universe and other universes and stuff, then definitely check out Galactic Astrology. Once I'm certified, I'm going to offer like legit galactic astrology sessions coming up in the future, I think, because I can get a lot of that information from the Akashic Records. That stuff will come through often in my readings. And so I'm thinking about doing like sessions where these like very casual, very unstructured sessions where like we can just go over your chart together. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to offer a galactic astrology reading until I'm certified because I have to be fair and ethical and respect, Julia Ballas, who's the creator of Galactic Astrology. And so instead of offering like a legit reading, if you want to go over your stuff and kind of like dive into it, I think it'd be really cool to offer sessions where like I have your chart, you have your chart, and then we get into it together and like talk about it and what it means. And I think that would be really cool. So I'm thinking about offering stuff like that because I can get that information from the Akashic Records too. And I am a certified Akashic Records reader. And so I feel like there's a way to do it while I'm getting certified, because that certification, I don't want to rush through it. I want to make sure that like I get it down pat. And so I can't believe I just said that I don't want to rush through it. I'm normally the person that's like, what? It takes 10 steps? I'm going to do it in 3. But it is so complicated. I tried to just like take it all in. I could take in a lot of information, and it was just like, I think I did it for about 2 weeks, and I was doing that. I was just like hours and hours of the videos and studying different charts, and like it got to a point where my brain just stopped. Like it was like my brain just kind of like went to sleep. It powered down. So I was like, okay, it's time to take a step back. But I've been going back to it a lot more often lately. So anyway, Galactic Astrology, working on that. It will be coming soon. Super excited about it. It was actually really cool. One of my friends, I was doing Reiki on her. I think I'm going to start actually offering like Reiki sessions too, or like Reiki add-ons for sessions. I really miss Reiki. I don't do it enough. I am a Reiki master. I actually have a Reiki master teacher certification, which is wild. But anyway, love Reiki. I've been getting a lot of messages lately from my spiritual team, the universe, about a lot of synchronicities, all pointing toward energy healing. And with the emotion code stuff, I feel like doing Reiki also would just be perfect. Like chef's kiss. So I'm going to start doing a lot more energy work things, and just kind of like integrating them with the readings and the stuff that I already do. So yeah, what was I saying? I was talking about Reiki. I was talking about galactic astrology. Man, I'm just all over the place. So anyway, I think I was done pretty much with the galactic astrology. So my emotion code session this morning, oh my gosh, I did a session for myself, and I found a preconception trapped emotion. So preconception trapped emotions are very rare. I've found 3, and I've released hundreds of emotions at this point. I've done around 40 sessions, emotion code sessions. And so like hundreds of emotions. And I previously had only found two. So I found 3 total preconception trapped emotions, 3 total, including mine that I found this morning. And preconception trapped emotions can happen before you incarnate. So usually the way that Dr. Nelson explained it in the emotion code, and I talk about this in the emotion code episode 10 of the podcast, but he says that the way that he explains it is that when our souls are in that place that they're in before we're physically incarnated, it's beautiful, it's full of love, it's this amazing existence. And then sometimes we can trap emotions from relationships there because we're interacting with other souls. We still have relationships there. And we can trap emotions because of relationships there or impending incarnations. And so this morning, I found a preconception trapped emotion in myself of grief. And the grief was because I was grieving the loss, like the fact I knew that. So I'm excited about incarnating. I obviously agreed. I made the choice to incarnate into this life. But before I incarnated, I knew what I was agreeing to. I knew that I had to forget who I really was, my connection to myself, my connection to the all that is, to everything and everyone. And I have grief. I released it, but I had grief about that because I was going to lose that connection to my relationship with myself, to my inner wisdom, that part of me. And so it's really beautiful that I am, remembering it and finding that and helping other people to remember and find that. I love it. I just thought it was wild that I had a preconception trapped emotion of grief because of that. So interesting. And I've honestly noticed, since I've done 6 emotion code sessions on myself, I should be doing way more, but I got very distracted because I was like, I want to do all these sessions for other people. I'm honestly working on self-care and choosing myself. And that's one of the things I'm noticing is it's getting easier to do that since I've been doing the emotion code on myself and releasing a lot of these. I have a lot of very heavy trapped emotions, a lot of inherited trapped emotions, which makes so much sense because I remember having a conversation with my sister last year about guilt. I feel so much guilt. I feel guilt if I'm not showing up for people in the way I feel like I need to show up for them. I feel guilt about saying no. I feel guilt about I just had so much guilt, and I have released some trapped emotions having to do with guilt that were inherited. What? So that makes so much sense now. I was like, man, why am I feeling so guilty? I don't know why I feel this way. It's so interesting. So yeah, self-care is getting easier. Choosing myself is getting easier. Being able to set boundaries is getting easier. And that is a huge one for me. I had a really hard time my whole life. I have very huge people pleaser tendencies. And especially now that I have a business, it's so important to have those professional and personal boundaries. And otherwise, I'll wear myself thin. And I have done it. I'm learning this lesson until I really learn it over and over again. I'm constantly being presented with opportunities in my life to learn how to set boundaries. I get so many practice opportunities presented to me. And every time I'm like, oh, here's another one. Thanks, universe. Appreciate it. I clearly can use all the practice I can get until it's not such a... It's hard. It's hard for me. It's still hard. It's very challenging. And so, yeah, I'm able to set boundaries a little more easily. And I'm noticing when I need to set boundaries. I'm noticing when I'm not setting my boundaries. And it's getting a lot easier, which is wonderful. I'm also noticing I'm less stressed and less overwhelmed. And I've actually also released some emotions of overwhelm and stress. Definitely inherited some overwhelm and trapped some overwhelm. And it's really interesting to kind of see how all of this stuff is playing out in my actual life. I just started so outside of my spiritual business, I'm a data engineer, and which is very hard. It's a hard job. I'm constantly having to learn new things. And I started a new project, and I'm working with all new stuff. that I've never worked with before, and it feels like I'm drinking out of a fire hose. It's a lot. And so on top of doing my business stuff, on top of my life stuff, on top of my normal 9-to-5 job stuff, I was feeling really overwhelmed and stressed because I have to learn I don't know how to do my job. I've been doing my job for years, but now I don't know how to do my job because I started a new project, and so I'm learning how to do my job for this project. Like, it's a lot. I love learning. Literally one of my soul purposes is learning. It's my favorite thing. It's probably why I can take in insanely huge amounts of information and just want more immediately, and then overwhelm people when I try to talk to people about it, because not everybody wants to or is able to take in just insane amounts of information and like absorb it and then use it. So yeah, I was feeling really stressed, I was feeling really overwhelmed, and I did a few emotion code sessions, and I'm noticing, man, I'm in these meetings and like stuff will come up or something won't work or something will break, or like I'm handling it way better. I'm not feeling so overwhelmed. I don't really feel like crying. I'm just noticing that I'm able to better observe my emotions and be able to kind of remove myself from the situation and think about it as what it is. Like, I'm not getting so engrossed in the situation that I'm having all these strong emotions about it. I used to be so and I still am. I'm working on my perfectionist tendencies, but I just used to get so overwhelmed with emotions. Like, I would be in a meeting and they'd be like, hey, this is going to be your task. I would have no idea how to do the task. The meeting would end, and then I would just be like, have a mini meltdown, because I'd be like, oh my God, I need to be really good at this. How am I going to learn how to do it? I have no idea where to start. It needs to be done right now, today. And like, I feel like I'm letting go of that. And I'm just like, this is a job. Nobody's going to die. I have time to figure it out. I can ask questions. It's fine to get up and go take a break and eat lunch and then come back and figure it out. Like, it's like I'm allowing myself to slow down a bit, and I'm not being as obsessive in the negative ways, because I think it's fine when I'm obsessing about something that's great, that's something that's good for me, something that brings me joy, something that helps me in some way. But when I'm obsessing about negative stuff, like I'm putting pressure on myself, or I'm being really negative, or I have unrealistic expectations, that's not great. And so I'm noticing that I'm kind of getting away from that more. It's a gradual process, and I'm still in the process of, letting go of those tendencies, but I'm noticing the shift, and it's so cool. I'm so excited about it. I've got to say, it's probably not all attributed to the emotion code. I've been doing a lot of personal work, a lot of shadow work, I analyze my behavior and how I'm showing up in my life, how I'm showing up in my relationships. I'm constantly peeling back layers and kind of working through those things and observing and having conversations and learning. So I'm sure it's all of that holistically that's making the difference. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's so nice, because I've been a stress ball for a long time. All right. So, and lastly, we're getting to the Akashic questions to go deep. So also, I feel like I need to wrap this up, because my gosh, the sniffling, I'm so sorry. I know that I'm sniffling all over the place. I could probably blow my nose, but I'm really trying to just finish this up, because I don't want to stop it and then go blow my nose, then restart. We're not doing that. Okay. So I, in true Ashley fashion, have been, studying multiple things. And I was like, you know what? I want to study more Akashic Record stuff. I want to see what other teachers are saying, like what other practices and stuff there are. You know what I mean? Like, I love looking at things from different perspectives. And I love my teachers. I love them. They were amazing when I was learning how to read the Akashic Records. And now that I've been doing Akashic Records readings and been in the Akashic Records for a little while, I was like, ooh, I want to go a little bit deeper. And so I was getting ready for bed one night, and I was like, I want to read a book. And so I was on my Kindle, and I was just trying to find stuff, and I was looking through what was available. And this book popped up. It's called the Akashic Records Masterclass by Cheryl Marlene. And I was like, huh. And I started looking at it. I read through it. She talks about like the science and energy dynamics and time, and it just pulled me right on in. I was there for it. It got deep real fast, and I was so for it. And so I was like, okay, let me check this lady out. Booked a session with her, and the session was amazing. And yeah, so when I was reading the book that I got is like an 800-page book. It's all of the books rolled into one. She has a newer one, and I think you could just get her questions book. It's like 500 Akashic questions you can ask. And it's really helpful. It's actually super helpful when you're forming questions, because the way that she explains how to form questions and kind of what the goal should be, it's so interesting. So if you're interested in anything that I'm talking about, then definitely check out her content, her books. So these questions, I wrote down 7 of them. The first one is, what is my truth today? And I love that, because the information you get today in a reading could be totally different from the information you could get tomorrow in a reading. Like, if you have a perspective shift, anything like can change what your truth is from moment to moment. Love it. Okay. The second question is, what can I do to expand my ability to trust myself? Love that. I mean, one of the biggest hurdles in my spiritual journey was learning to trust myself. Like, in the very beginning, that was so hard. Like, I think when you're getting used to it, when you're getting used to opening yourself up, tapping into like the energetic nuances, like all of that kind of stuff, I think it can be really challenging to learn how to trust yourself, learn how to trust your intuition, trust what you're picking up, trust how your senses are interpreting the energies that are coming through. So interesting. The third question is, what can I learn today that will help me move forward in my life? What? Love that one. I could ask that one every single day. Like, what can I learn today that'll help me move forward in my life? What do I need to know? What do I need to know to help myself out that I don't already know? Love it. Question number 4, how can I embrace a deep sense of self-worth? Love that. So self-worth is one of my big goals. It's always been one of my goals my whole life. I didn't know that I had self-worth issues for a really long time. I don't know if it's that I didn't know or I didn't want to admit it or recognize it. But once I did, I was like, crap, what am I supposed to do about this? And it is an ongoing process to learn to love myself, to recognize my value and my worth. And, as life does, it rolls around all these mirrors and opportunities for me to continue learning and practicing to have self-worth. So I think I love that question. The question number 5 is, how can I bring more joy and laughter into my life? Who couldn't use more joy and laughter? Like, load me up with joy and laughter. Let's go. Here for it. I will always, anything to bring me more joy and laughter, I'm here for it. So love that question. Question number 6, how do I hold myself back from fully loving myself and others? This one is another great question. I think that being able to receive love is a common thing that a lot of us are learning how to do. And that can stem from childhood stuff often. And I feel like understanding how you hold yourself back from fully loving yourself can help you to understand how you receive love, how open you are to receiving love, and then how you're showing up, how you're giving love to people or showing people you love them in your life. Are you able to actually love other people to the extent that you feel like you are? Because if you're not really loving yourself and showing yourself that level of, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but if you're not doing that for yourself, like how are you really able to show up 100% for others if you're not doing that for yourself? That's, especially in the healing space. Like, let's have a conversation about that. Honestly, each of these questions could be a podcast episode. We're not doing that though. It's not what we're here for. Okay. And the 7th last question is, what are my next steps in life? Love that. I like that. I like practical questions. Like, what can I do? What are the things that I can take action on? And how can I take action so that I can be my most aligned self, so that I can step onto my path confidently? Like, what are the steps I need to take? Love that. What are my next steps in life? My next steps are to go blow my nose. So thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. I actually really enjoyed doing this. This might be a thing, like once every few months, just have a spiritual bestie catch up. Let me know how are you guys doing? Like, did you like this spiritual bestie catch up, or are you like, no, please get back to like the regularly scheduled programming of the outlines and the structured podcast where you're actually talking about like real stuff. This was real stuff. I'm just gonna say this was real stuff. It was just there wasn't one subject. It was kind of all over the place. I don't know. I guess the subject was kind of me and what am I doing? What's going on in my life? But yeah. Also, if you guys have ideas for things that you want to hear about on this podcast, I am so here for it. I would love suggestions because I want to talk about stuff you guys want to actually hear about, things you're interested in. I have so many interests. So if you're interested in it, I bet you I'm probably interested in it too. Or was at one point. So please let me know, send me a message, send me a DM, email me, call in through the voicemail, leave me a message. And yeah, let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Because if you hate it, then I probably won't be doing a whole bunch of spiritual bestie catch-ups. So let me know. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And yeah, until the next episode, sending you all of the love.